This video has been requested by the patron 6keys. Thank you for the support and I hope you will enjoy it. Minit is a peculiar little adventure played 60 seconds at a time. This is how the game, made by a team of talented independent developers, introduces itself on every storefront page. In Minit, you play as a duck-like creature inflicted by a curse. At the end of every minute you die and are reborn at your home. The ultimate goal is to get yourself out of this endless loop and uncover the mystery behind the curse to lift it. The concept is certainly striking, but does the game live up to it? Let's find out. My name is Stanislav Costiuc, I am a game designer, and this is my spoiler-free review of Minit. As always, we'll dissect the game with the help of my Stasocritic system, the first category of which is design. This is the most important category of Stasocritic with the biggest weight, 4, as the way a game is built and structured is what defines our experience the most. From the get-go, I want to say that Minit is a solidly designed little game that you can beat in an evening, but there has been something that didn't quite sit right with me. I realized what when I remembered my favorite moment in the entire game. Near the lighthouse there is an old man who gives a hint about a treasure location by talking excruciatingly long and slow, that you have this mixed feeling of laughter but also frustration because you have a time limit that is purposefully being wasted. I love this moment because it masterfully plays with the central conceit of Minit, the 60-second timer. It's actually only one of the few moments in the game that does, and this is what has been bothering me. Despite Minit's central gimmick being the timer, the game doesn't actually revolve around it. This timer does add some extra pressure to the central pillars of the game, exploration and puzzles, but it is not a pillar in and of itself. And it's something that is difficult to unsee once you see it. If you take the game's structure for example, it is essentially about unlocking different areas by finding items or completing quests. At first you're limited to the area near your little house. Once you get the sword, which is what kickstarts the 60-second curse, you have access to more locations because you can now cut bushes. Then once you complete a little quest to kill 5 crabs within one cycle, you get coffee, which allows you to push boxes. So now you have access to even more areas. This structure cycle repeats as you reveal more and more of the map while also unlocking ways to save time, which includes shortcuts, new homes that are set as your spawning point, as well as teleport platforms between them. But the timer doesn't really fit anywhere in this gameplay structure. What it does is force a little bit of time management on your part, as well as the need to make choices. For example, once the world opens up more, there are many places you get to explore and characters you can interact with. One of them is stuck in the desert and you have to bring water to them. Without a timer, you would be able to do that whenever. With the timer, you need to make a conscious choice to save the character and run to the place as soon as possible to make it in time so that the results of this action will be permanently saved for your next 60-second cycle. The act of saving this person certainly has a bigger feeling of intensity because you need to do it before the timer reaches 0, but that's about it. Of course, this is not to say that the timer doesn't matter at all for the design of Minit. After all, every main and side activity has been made to be completed within a minute of your time. And the reason why this review is spoiler-free and I avoid talking about certain aspects in detail is because Minit doesn't have repeating content. That side quest to kill 5 crabs, there is only one like that in the game. Saving a person's life by giving them water, you will do that only once as well. Slow-talking old man, only one person like that, you won't encounter any other. Every little puzzle is something you will see only once. And considering the game is relatively short while being very dense in its design, every mention of anything is going to rob you of a little bit of joy from exploration and discovery. The world you're in is surprisingly big, but there is no map in this game, so the more areas you open up, the more things you need to keep in your head, and with a 60-second limit it becomes increasingly stressful to remember where exactly you need to go each time. It doesn't help that the actual core mechanics of the game are just functional. This may sound weird because there really is absolutely nothing wrong with how you move and attack, but also the controls lack a sort of oomph an actual game design term of course, in how you navigate through the world. This is manifested in several ways, from the absence of little mechanics like automatic smoothing through corners so you wouldn't get stuck, to lack of any game feel effects in your movement. It's just a couple of interchanging sprites. And most of your playtime will be spent going somewhere with the goal to complete a certain objective, so sadly there is a missed opportunity in the aspect of satisfactory navigation. Regardless, if you open up the scores for design, feel free to pause if you'd like to read them all. I will assign an 8 to Minit. Yes, core mechanics are not satisfying, and it's disappointing that the game doesn't delve deeper into its main marketing aspect. The reason people would buy Minit, the reason the game is named like this in the first place. But that being said, the game still utilizes the timer limit well enough to deliver quite a lot of little 1-minute adventures, and that is, quite indeed, great. Now, let's discuss context. This category has a weight of 1, as it's about things that enhance the experience rather than define it. Plot, characters, setting, basically everything that provides context for our actions. Now, when you start playing Minit, you really should drop any expectations of a wholesome narrative, characters with depth, rich world history, or any of the sorts. This game features a plot, characters, world with a structure, but doesn't place any real importance in anything out of that. What you will get out of Minit though is fun gags. Oh my god, you found a cursed sword, so you have to get it back to the factory. Why? Because it is inherently ridiculous to find and pick up a random sword on the beach, though not surprising for a video game, so Minit gives an equally ridiculous final goal. This sword has been apparently made in a factory, so that's where you must go. What you will also get out of Minit is fun little interactions. In a cemetery you can find a bone, for example. What can you do with it? Actually, I won't tell you because that would be a spoiler, but suffice it to say, that is a nice little surprise there. And honestly, Minit is one of those games that stretches the limits of my Stasocritic scoring principles, because the ratings are assigned only based on what a game attempts to do, so for example, an abstract title wouldn't get punished for a lack of character arcs or something. But Minit is one of those games that is fine with having things it doesn't really care about for the purposes of some gags. So I will assign a 6, because that's what fits with the scoring system. You will find enjoyment in at least some of the game's humor. But also Minit doesn't really try to achieve anything more than that, and that's fine. Let's move on to aesthetics. This is another category with a weight of 1 because it is again about something that enhances the experience but doesn't necessarily define it. This stems from visual style, music, sounds, etc. I don't think there is much you can say about Minit from this angle. It's got cute character designs, nice enough sprites, fitting music, and I adore the funny voice acting. However, I have problems with the overall visual style of the title. It's a black and white game where everything is designed and placed like it's in color. This leads to this weird sensation of the environment feeling too busy, to the point that sometimes you literally don't understand which object is interactive or the one you need, or that something is supposed to be a variation of another item, so that's how you understand what you need to do. Feel free to call it an entirely subjective opinion, but this is why ultimately I will assign an 8 to Minit. The visual style on more than one occasion has conflicted with understanding the gameplay, and that's an issue. But other than that, it's a cute game. It's time to talk about Cohesion. This category has a weight of 2 and it's focused on examining how well the game connects all of its different aspects together. I'm opening up the scores immediately here because there is nothing I can add for this category specifically. I will assign a 6. Minit is unapologetically a game, in a sense that it does a lot of things just because it's a game and really for no other reason. That said, sometimes it does utilize its notion of the 60-second timer really well for the purposes of enhancing the experience, which is why I am assigning this score. We're getting to the last category, emotions. This is the most subjective category of Stasocritic with the second biggest weight, 3. It is all about personal feelings, but at the end of the day, that's what really matters, isn't it? And again, there's not much I can talk about here. Minit is a very nice game. I completed the main story once in an hour, and in that time I discovered only half of what the game had to offer. That said, I didn't really feel like going for 100% completion or a New Game Plus run, and I'll be honest, that is because by the end of that hour I've been quite tired of the 1-minute mechanic. In fact, I completed Minit only because I realized I was getting close to the end. Also, and this is entirely a personal mistake, which is why I haven't mentioned it in the design category, but I have been accidentally killing myself and resetting the cycle so many times. Even after having put quite a bit of playtime in Minit, I honestly don't know why I would have an instinct to press a button that kills me. But this is why out of all the scores I will assign an 8 to Minit. I enjoyed it, but I doubt I will ever get back to this game ever again. This video is going to be my nice little memory of it. Let's summarize everything. After taking all the scores and weights into account, Minit gets a final Stasocritic rating of 72. Now, I want to be clear, if this is your first time watching my videos, in the context of the Stasocritic system, 70 plus means a perfectly good game. With this system it is very difficult to get 80 plus, let alone 90 plus. So 72 means that it's a solid title, and if you enjoy this type of genre or this style of games, you will definitely like Minit and should try it out for sure. If you don't, you're unlikely to find here something that will change your mind, however, the 60-second gimmick is something that may get your attention. Regardless, it's a cute game, I'm happy to have tried it out, and you might be too. Thank you all for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video. A special thank you goes to my patrons and 6 keys who has proposed to take a look at Minit in the first place as part of the Patreon reward tier. If you like what I am doing, please consider checking out my campaign at patreon.com/farlands. Any support helps out a ton. Thank you very much.